Meet the Clappy family. Sexual abuse programs and constant up-to-date research is needed because sexual abuse is a growing issue in today's society. How YRAP assists children and their families. First of all, they have to establish that it's not the child's fault in order to make progress. This organization assists in healing, and they educate the children and the family as well. Schools seem to mainly focus on stranger danger. Stranger danger does not protect children from this type of abuse since the abusers are well known to the child. When a child is sexually abused, the perpetrators are mainly family, babysitters, or anyone else the child may know personally. The goal is to ensure that children are not suffering from sexual abuse in silence. They work to educate both the parents and children on sexual abuse. They teach long-term coping methods, and they also work to build confidence. They want to get the child back to being the child that they were before the abuse took place. According to YRAP, the most common type of therapy offered is individual therapy. According to YRAP, group therapy is often not used because the organization generally cannot find enough children who are at the same developmental rate. According to YRAP, when a child is misbehaving, disclosing too much detail about a case, or disclosing information about another abuse they have suffered, a parent needs to be present during the therapy session. YRAP uses many great tactics during children's therapy. Tactic number 1, modeling and sculpturing. Modeling and sculpturing are used to express their emotions in a non-verbal manner. They are also able to have fun, relax, and use it as a distraction. Tactic number 2, bravery bears. Whenever a child needs the courage to speak about their emotions, they are given a bravery bear in order to assist them and to make them feel strong. Bravery bears are often donations from local sponsors. Tactic number 3, paper people. Paper people is an activity which allows the child to write down or draw a picture of whomever or whatever they are afraid of. Tactic number 4, psychoed. Psychoed teaches parents about trauma and sexual abuse. Middle-aged children often blame themselves when they are sexually abused because the abuser grooms them into thinking that it's their fault. Grooming is when a person befriends or establishes a connection with the child in order to make the child feel more comfortable when the person is about to sexually abuse them. Tactic number 5, the Angry Birds coloring activity. Angry Birds is pretty popular amongst children these days, so during therapy, children are able to color in an Angry Birds picture. Tactic number 6, puppet plays. Puppet plays enable children to reenact their feelings through the puppets, so that it doesn't directly involve them. Tactic number 7, talking to children about safety. Talking to children about safety is very important in order to prevent future abuse situations from happening. These tactics all contribute to helping the child eliminate or minimize flashbacks of the abuse. A sexually abused child often encounters problems in school, acts up, or shuts everyone out. There is a lot of anxiety during the ages of 6 to 8-year-old children. Developing therapeutic relationships with the children and earning their trust is very important. This is because they are trapped with keeping the secret of what has happened to them in fear that the abuser may hurt their family or even their pets.
Created using Powtoon.
Well, why does our community need YRAP? With the help of YRAP, the children are more likely to grow up being productive contributors to society. If we do not inform children how to protect themselves from sexual abuse, many more children will fall victim to it. Programs such as YRAP are needed in order to help children cope and to get the child back to being a child again, to rescue them. YRAP helps children to gain the confidence and support they need in order to thrive in the future. If we did not have this service, many children would continue to struggle throughout their lifetime and may experience psychological issues. Shockingly, just recently, a 79-year-old woman started getting help about an abuse that has occurred when she was a child. YRAP believes that if they can help children understand that it is not their fault while they are young, they would be able to lead a much happier and better life. The therapists are able to teach the children how to stop the thoughts and all of the flashbacks by doing activities that are able to ground their emotions. According to YRAP, they're very diverse. They accept people from all backgrounds and cultures. YRAP is very underfunded. They don't have many big sponsors, and even money raised from fundraisers is not enough. They have 2 therapists available for servicing children because that is all they can afford. If YRAP had more funding, they would be able to further improve their organization by hiring more staff. By doing so, children wouldn't have to wait on the waiting list for as long as a year to a year and a half. Problems I have encountered with research. Contacting organizations was the most time-consuming aspect of this project. I originally was supposed to interview York Region Children's Aid Society, but because they were too busy, I had to contact a different organization, which took a little more time. YRAP was busy too, but they were able to make time for me to see them regarding the important issue of child abuse. During parts of the interview, I began to feel extremely sad because the information given was heartbreaking. The YRAP representative noticed and suggested I take a moment to calm down. This was a very caring gesture. If I were to direct a research team regarding sexual abuse, I would focus more on the perpetrators. I would observe common actions and characteristics they possess, and release that information to the public so that everyone is more aware of what a common perpetrator is generally like. I would also research new ways to cope with all of the flashbacks and trauma so that those on the waiting lists can treat themselves temporarily and would not have to suffer as much. I would also start awareness programs within schools so that children who are keeping their abuse a secret will be aware that sexual abuse is not their fault. Most of this new research would involve observing brain patterns. A common case of sexual abuse. The perpetrator, usually someone who has access to the child, would further develop a relationship by making the child feel special. They may do so by taking the child out to McDonald's. They would then get on the floor and play games with them, which would generally lead to tickle games, just to get the child used to the idea of being touched by them. Here is a little more about YRAP. YRAP assists anyone who is the age of 3 and up. YRAP has 2 researchers who help them to keep their therapeutic techniques up to date. The YRAP office is quite small but very welcoming and cozy. When I first walked in, I was greeted by friendly staff members who directed me to an area with couches where I was able to sit and wait. During the tour, I was able to see the therapy rooms for children, and they seemed like rooms which were very playful and energetic. The area was filled with toys and a huge puppet show stage. All around the walls of the rooms and the hallways, I noticed painted handprints, each with an encouraging word inside of them. Many posters made by children were also hung up on the walls. There were also several adult and family rooms which were kept very clean and very organized. Overall, YRAP was a very encouraging and supporting place for patients of all ages. Everyone has the right to live free from childhood sexual abuse. Thanks for listening.
Created using Powtoon.